Hello everybody. If you want all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 847, The Invisible Waiting. Intermediate. Yogesh lived in a small village in Himachal Pradesh, India. The village was quiet and peaceful. There were green hills, narrow paths, and cold streams flowing between rocks. Birds sang in the mornings, and at night the sky was full of stars. There was no heavy traffic, no loud noise, and no dirty smoke in the air. Even though Yogesh loved the beauty of the village, his heart was often restless. For many months he had carried a strange feeling inside him. He felt that someone invisible was waiting for him somewhere in the world. Sometimes, when he walked alone in the hills, he felt as if someone was walking beside him. At night, before sleeping, he imagined a soft voice calling his name. He did not know who this person was. He had never seen her face. Still, the feeling became stronger every day. It was almost like Yogesh had fallen in love with someone invisible. 6 months earlier, Yogesh had travelled to Shimla, the capital city of Himachal Pradesh. The moment he arrived there, he stood aghast. The city looked enormous to him. Tall buildings covered the hillsides. Cars and buses moved endlessly through the crowded roads. People rushed everywhere without stopping. Yogesh had never seen so much traffic and heard such noise in his life. He felt confused while crossing roads filled with vehicles. Sometimes he stood quietly on the roadside just watching the city move around him. But along with confusion, he also felt excitement. The strange feeling inside his heart became even stronger in Shimla. Every crowded street made him wonder the same thing. Was the invisible person somewhere here? Was she walking through these busy roads? Was she standing in one of these buildings waiting for him? Now Yogesh lived in Shimla temporarily. 6 months had passed since he moved there. During this time, he became acquainted with many people. He spoke with shopkeepers, neighbors, workers, and students. Some people were friendly, and some were too busy to notice him. Still, Yogesh did not find a true friend. At night, he often sat near the window of his small room and watched the lights of the city, his mind filled with endless questions. Was the person waiting for him living in the same building? Had the invisible person already become visible? If she was real, why did she not come close to him? And if she was still invisible, when would they finally meet? These thoughts slowly became a part of his daily life. One evening, heavy rain began to fall over Shimla. Thick clouds covered the hills and cold wind blew through the streets. Yogesh finished his work and started walking back to his room. The roads were wet and slippery. As he passed a small tea shop, the electricity suddenly went out. The street became dark. People quickly moved inside nearby buildings to avoid the rain. Yogesh stopped under the roof of the tea shop. Only one other person was standing there. It was a young woman holding a blue umbrella. Rainwater fell from the edge of the umbrella onto the ground. She looked tired but calm. For a moment, Yogesh felt something unusual. The strange feeling in his heart suddenly became very strong. The woman looked at him and smiled politely. "The rain does not look like it will stop soon," she said. Her voice felt strangely familiar to Yogesh, although he knew they had never met before. Yogesh nodded slowly. Yes, Shimla changes very quickly during rain. The woman laughed softly. "You are not originally from here, are you?" "No," Yogesh replied. "I come from a village." "I thought so," she said. "You still look at the city with surprise." Yogesh smiled for the first time that day. They began talking while the rain continued to fall. The conversation was simple. They spoke about the weather, the crowded roads, and the peaceful hills around the city. Yet Yogesh felt unusually comfortable while speaking with her. After some time, the woman became quiet. Then she said something unexpected. "Do you ever feel that someone has been waiting for you for a long time?" Yogesh stared at her in shock. The sound of rain seemed to disappear for a moment. "Yes," he answered quietly. The woman looked down at her umbrella and smiled gently. "I have felt the same for many months," she admitted. Yogesh could not explain why, but his heart suddenly felt peaceful. For the first time in many months, his endless questions became silent. The rain slowly became lighter. The woman finally introduced herself as Meera. Before leaving, she looked at Yogesh and said, "Perhaps some people meet long before they actually see each other." Then she walked away into the misty street. That night, Yogesh could not sleep. He kept thinking about her words. During the following weeks, Yogesh and Meera met many times. They drank tea together, walked through the narrow roads of Shimla, and spoke for hours. Slowly, Yogesh realized something important. The invisible person he had searched for was never truly invisible. It was simply someone he had not met yet. All the strange feelings, questions, and restless night had led him to this moment. One evening, Yogesh and Meera stood together on a quiet hill overlooking the shiny lights of Shimla. Cold wind moved through the trees. Yogesh smiled peacefully. For the first time since leaving his village, he no longer felt lost. The waiting was finally over. If you learned a new word today, please make sure to subscribe so you can practice again next time. Vocabulary notes: restless, meaning unable to relax or stay calm because of worry, excitement, or strong feelings. Example: even though Yogesh loved the beauty of the village, his heart was often restless. Similar words: uneasy, anxious, troubled, unsettled. Extra example: Maria felt restless before her first day at the new job because she did not know anyone there. Aghast, meaning very shocked or surprised by something unexpected. Example: the moment he arrived there, he stood aghast. Similar words: shocked, amazed, stunned, astonished. Extra example: Daniel was aghast when he saw snow covering the beach in the middle of spring. Acquainted, meaning to know someone slightly but not deeply or closely. Example: during this time he became acquainted with many people. Similar words: familiar with, introduced to, aware of. Extra example: after working in the office for 2 months, Priya became acquainted with most of her colleagues. Endless, meaning continuing for a very long time without stopping or seeming to have an end. Example: his mind filled with endless questions. Similar words: continuous, never-ending, constant, unending. Extra example: the children asked endless questions during the long journey home. Misty, meaning filled with light fog or thin cloud that makes it difficult to see clearly. Example: then she walked away into the misty street. Similar words: foggy, cloudy, hazy, unclear. Extra example: the mountains look beautiful in the misty morning light. Story written by ChatGPT and Steve UK. Image created by Yogesh. To read, see all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.